It was the beginning of an end that had long been awaited. Cha Hae-in took the initiative, cutting down hordes of ant royal guards that stood in the way of Ma Dongwook's approach toward the Ant Queen. With every swing of her blade, the formation of ants crumbled. At the heart of it all, a lone broadcaster was startled by a sudden notification from the newsroom. Viewer ratings have crossed 80%. Seeing the success, he instinctively took a step closer, but was immediately stopped by Biyung. "You forget where you are. This is the boss's lair in an S-rank dungeon. If you die here for the sake of a better angle, no one will be responsible." The broadcaster hesitated, then slowly stepped back. Far away in a dimly lit home, the flickering television cast restless shadows on the walls. A frail voice broke the silence. "They are avenging our only son," her voice trembling. "We should tune in even if it's painful to watch." Her husband sitting silently, his gaze locked onto the newspaper in his hands. His back was hunched, weighed down by the years of sorrow. Across the nation, the world stood still. City streets, usually bustling with movement, were now hushed. Back in the small home, the door suddenly burst open. The old woman turned sharply, startled by the sound. Her husband, his eyes, weary yet resolute, "It's their fourth time. They need to win this time, don't you think?" Before she could answer, the broadcaster's voice cut through the tense air. "Only the queen remains. Once the queen is defeated, the hunters will be able to wipe out the remaining ants." A cheer erupted in the newsroom, 85% viewership, but the nation was far too focused on the battle to care. South Korea was on the verge of being added to the prestigious list of countries that had cleared an S-rank gate, a feat only achieved by the United States, China, Russia, and France. Hunters closed in on the queen, believing that without her guards, she was nothing to be feared, only to be met with a stream of deadly poison. Ma Dongwook, caught in the attack, writhed in agony, his skin blistering upon contact. But Biyung acted fast, healing them before it was too late. The Ant Queen shifted her attention to the healer, realizing his importance. But before she could strike, the team's tank intercepted her, buying precious seconds. Choi Jong-in, seeing the battle slipping from their control, made a split-second decision. "Everyone, don't hold back, give it your all." A torrent of flames engulfed the queen as he unleashed his full power. With this much firepower, there was no way she could withstand it. Victory was within reach. Then it happened. The queen shrieked. A deafening cry echoed through the cavern, forcing the hunters to recoil. It sounded like a death wail, but there was something more to it. Something far worse. Suddenly, the entire colony changed direction. The ants abandoned their fight and surged toward the tunnels. Hunter Cha Hae-in wasted no time. With a swift motion, her sword sliced clean through the queen's neck. The head rolled to the ground, the queen's lifeless body collapsing with a dull thud. The hunters had won. Relief swept through them. The queen was dead. But then, it happened. A shift in presence. A suffocating weight filled the cavern. It wasn't just the stench of death. It was something else, something far more menacing. From the depths of the darkened nest, something stirred. A single question gripped their minds with bone-chilling horror. How could a single beast possess such overwhelming strength? Just standing before them, the monstrous being exuded an aura so suffocating that even the most seasoned hunters felt their knees grow weak. Hunter Cha staggered backward. It was not just an odor. It was a presence, a manifestation of death itself. Ma Dongwook stepped forward in defiance. His mind was assaulted by visions of death, paralyzing him where he stood. But there was something more in the beast's demeanor, something almost solemn, like a royal guard mourning the incompetence of lesser beings, lamenting their futile struggle against an absolute force. The Ant King locked onto Hunter Cha. He knew. He could sense the lingering scent of the queen's blood on her blade. In a flash, the Ant King closed the distance, his clawed fist striking like a meteor. The force of impact shattered her ribs instantly, sending her flying like a broken doll. The moment she hit the ground, a sickening crack confirmed what they feared: she would not be rising again. Ma Dongwook roared in fury and charged. Before Dongwook could even process his own movement, his left arm was torn away from his body. He twisted his grip and thrust his spear forward. The Ant King caught the spear midair, snapping it effortlessly before seizing Dongwook's remaining arm. The limb was torn from its socket, leaving the warrior to collapse, drowning in his own blood. Baek Yoonho lunged forward in a blur of motion, his beast-like instincts driving him to attack. But the Ant King did not evade. He countered. In mere seconds, Beak was slashed across his torso. Choi Jong-in fell next, his body cleaved cleanly in two. One after another, the hunters dropped. Hope flickered for a moment when Hunter Lim loosed an arrow, crackling with enchanted energy, aimed straight for the Ant King's head. The Ant King snatched it midair and crushed it to dust. Then, something unexpected happened. The first blow landed on the Ant King. Ma Dongwook had tackled the monstrous being with all the strength left. Byung-ju had been waiting, his presence concealed with the skill disguise. As long as he remained motionless, the Ant King could not perceive him. Ma Dongwook was fully healed. The Ant King paused. It had learned enough from this battle to understand. It had to end this quickly. The Ant King grabbed Ma Dongwook by the leg and began slamming him against the ground like a ragdoll. Each impact was thunderous, each strike shattering bones and rupturing organs. Even Byung-ju's healing could not keep up with the carnage. The Ant King turned, its antennae twitching. It had found the hidden healer. Byung-ju barely had time to react. A single, swift motion, a clawed hand plunged through his chest, silencing him before he could even scream. Baek Yoonho watched in horror as his best friend was slaughtered mercilessly before his eyes. A desperate cry escaped his lips, raw, broken, filled with agony.